Hi, this is Tracy HD, and I want to thank you for joining me today for another energy and guidance reading. And we are using the Work Your Light Oracle cards by Rebecca Campbell. And you can use this as a pick a card, one, two, three, or you can use it as a blended reading with all three cards. Today's March 5th, although I do feel that this is a timeless reading, and whenever it finds you is when it's meant for you to hear the message. Okay, for the first card, I'll take a card off the top. Second card, I'm going to take a card from the center. And last card will be the card from the bottom. Okay, so first card is Awakening. And we had this yesterday. Okay, so this is to be emphasized. The beautiful pastel colors on these cards are just so heavenly. I can't say enough about them. I hope the camera is picking up on all of the colors. And I love the moon up in the upper left corner. And the card says energetic upgrades, a new way of being, integration. You're going through a period of awakening. Things are changing within you, and at many levels, you are starting to remember ancient truths and discovering more and more about you, who you are, and why you incarnated. You may find that you are experiencing past life flashbacks, seeing the invisible thread that is woven through all of life, or even feeling Kundalini Shakti rise from your body, from the base of your spine. The most important thing for you this time is not to overthink it and to stay grounded. Share your experiences with like soul people while you consciously integrate them. Journal and pay attention to your dreams, your remembering, and your soul gifts are emerging. During this time of transition and awakening, you may be called to devote yourself to being of service. There are ideas, truths, concept books, and creations waiting to be birthed into this world. Stay open to receiving them. Pulling this card may be a sign that you were here to birth one of these creations into the world, or perhaps you're being called to make a shift in your life in order to be of service. Don't think too much about it. Instead, repeat the following work light activation. I surrender to my awakening. I allow the Shakti energy to rise from the base of my spine. I open myself up to the universe, using me in a way that delights my mind, body, and spirit. Yes, yes. And it is March now. We're heading into spring here in the Northern Hemisphere. And from so many readings that I've done, collectively and for myself, it keeps telling me that March is a time for a big shift to take place, for things to really start to bloom. And I so want to start writing my book. But like I said, I get held back a bit because I don't want to go back to that. I've closed the door on those situations and people. I don't know if I want to reopen that wound, but some part of me says that maybe I can get closure from it. So we'll see. I'm just taking it step at a time and going with what my gut feeling is. Maybe it's just not the right time for me yet. Maybe something else needs to unfold. Haven't had an ending written yet for it, but sure has a lot of information between. And many of you out there could be the same thing. You could write a book of what your life story was, what you've went through in order to share with other people, or become a Reiki healer, or do something of service for other people, because when we give is the best feeling in the world. And again, that eagle is outside my window, flying around with his wings spread. I wish he'd come over here closer. He's gone off into the distance. Otherwise, I would face the camera. Anyway, let's get back on point here. The next card is play. Have fun, celebrate, don't be so serious. And that is so true. So many of us are so caught up in all the things we have to do. Yesterday, I was in the midst of house cleaning when I realized I had to run out to the store. I still had to do exercises. I was a mess. So much of me just wanted to, just lay down and take a nap. I mean, I didn't want any more on my plate. There was just so much to do. And I promised myself today that today was going to be a day off. I'm off today. I'm off from all household responsibilities. I don't want anyone to ask me for anything. I'm going to be completely self-absorbed and I'm going to bury myself in reading some books. So you may want to do the same for yourself. Think of when you could schedule a play date for it yourself, because so many of you really, really are burning the candle at both ends. You're just spending way too much time being so serious and doing so many responsible things that you need a timeout for yourself. And then the last card is boundaries. And we may have had this card in the very beginning when I started using this deck about a month ago, because it looks awfully familiar as well. And it says, where do you need to establish better boundaries? And yes, boundaries are not mean. Boundaries are necessary to maintain a healthy life, a healthy, balanced life, because there are so many people, friends, associates, family members, you name it, coworkers, people that really overstep their boundaries. And, they just so used to, getting what they want, doing what they want, and expecting you to, accommodate them when, hey, you got to set these boundaries because people will take advantage. And anyone who truly cares about you, okay, is not going to mind that you set boundaries, okay? They're going to understand. It's only the selfish people, okay, the ones that are more concerned about their needs and not your needs, that are going to feel offended and maybe not talk to you anymore, because they just want to get what they want to get and they don't care what they do to other people. It says you are being called to create clearer boundaries in your life. This could be with your friends, family, or work. Yeah, that's exactly. Saying yes when you really mean no leads to resentment, which is the biggest energy drain ever. At first, it might only be a little bit and not feel like a big deal, but before you know it, your energy field becomes porous and you're left depleted, resentful, or taken advantage of. Yeah, like that saying goes, you can't keep giving to other people because you end up empty and exhausted. You can't serve, from an empty, oh, I can't think of that word. You know what I mean. It's not carafe, it's not urn. Vessel, there it is, vessel. It's very early here for me. So you can't serve from an empty vessel. So you've got to make sure you're taking care of yourself as well. Saying no and having clear boundaries is actually a spiritual act. The most giving, loving, compassionate people are those with the clearest boundaries. For when they say yes, they are able to give unconditionally. When your boundaries are clear, others know where they stand and you are able to give freely. If you are not clear where your boundaries lie, this causes confusion, resentment, and energetic cords to be planted. If you're saying yes when you really mean no, you're likely needing something yourself. Ask yourself, what part of me needs something from them? It could be a need for approval, a fear of being seen a certain way, or a fear of loss. The best way to gauge your boundaries is to check in with your belly. Your belly is the second brain. It has an intelligence known as your gut feelings. Yes. And believe me, your gut feelings are your internal warning system. Okay? Do not dismiss those feelings. Tune into this space when deciding what is okay for you. How does it feel? What is it trying to communicate with you? So, yes, a lot of you out there were very much like the old me, and I'm not a people pleaser. Yeah, that's the interesting thing. I'm not a people pleaser. I wouldn't say yes to everyone. I would just say yes to a chosen few that I held close to my heart. And that's where the problem was. When people know they could take advantage of you, they will. And you get taken for granted. So you need to establish boundaries. All of us do. And all of us need to reinforce maybe some of the boundaries we've set already. Wow, interesting reading. Beautiful energy this morning with the sun coming in and that eagle he left. Otherwise, I was going to give you a sneak peek of him. He shows up around this time, I guess. This must be his playtime. He was having fun out there. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this video, please like it by giving it a thumbs up, share it, and above all, subscribe because I will be back with more.